It's that time again. We are back on Temu.com hunting for some of the best tech deals on the internet. Are we going to be successful or run into some cursed nonsense? Might as well start with some lightning deals. What? Handmade 1920s British-style mini wallet. So unique, it reminds me of my grandmother. Okay, actual tech. So this is a Badofo 1080p dual dashcam setup that only cost $6.29. Now, I'll be real, 1080p might not be the highest resolution for something like a dashcam, but considering, again, that it only costs like less than $10, this could be nice to have as a pseudo insurance policy to have recording on your dashboard should something happen to you or your vehicle while on the road. Whoa, okay. So on our last Temu excursion, we looked at an RC Humvee. That was pretty cool. But what we have here is a full-blown helicopter. Man, I've never even thought about RC helicopters since I was a kid. I actually had one and unfortunately lost it in a forest somewhere. And now I can relive my childhood dreams for only $78.19. It's only murder if they find a body. Otherwise, it's just a missing person. Now come on over here. I have something to show you. So many weapons, dude. And this one apparently is the science and education model. Oh, these are sick. What the hell? Industrial punk rotating fashion glasses. I don't really care about the look, if I'm being honest with you, but as a photography nerd, I love the fact that these glasses are 2ND filters and they're variable. As you spin the ring, they'll either get darker or brighter, so you can adjust how much it's cutting the light. That is so freaking cool. Is that a little tiny slot machine? Oh, that's so cute. I mean, I'm not much of a gambler, apart from gacha games, but that feels like it'd be a fun little fidget toy. Aww. Are these shoes that let you spark? Oh, they're not shoes. They're like a thing that you tie to your shoes to spark. Oh, this is some takeover. Intelligent technology, blow to light up. Is this a cigarette lighter for your phone? Yeah, this looks like a cigarette lighter that used to be in cars back in the day, only now powered by USB-C on your phone. All right, we've checked out with a bunch of stuff, so we'll be right back when everything shows up to unbox all of it. All right, so we have two items here. First thing, really simple. I bought myself a new unboxing knife. I believe this is themed from Mercy. It looks quite nice, though. Is that a real blade? Yep, that is not a real knife, for shame. It does look quite cool though, even though a lot of it is plastic. That would have been so neat, man. But yeah, alas, it is nothing more than a neat looking cosplay prop. But what about our second item? This right here is my $20 mini Bluetooth speaker. The pictures on the website looked very AI generated, but if it looks half as decent in person, we might have a winner here. Dang, okay. Yep, that feels very solid. Holy shit. We also have rubber feet on the bottom, so when you put it down on a table, it won't move a crazy amount. Well, I guess it is quite top heavy, but it won't slide. Wait, that actually sounded kind of decent. Even though it was just a simple jingle, there was a bit of body to it. Maybe a little bit of bass as well. And might I add, this screen looks somewhat decent. Woo! And the media controls on the screen work very well too. This screen, at least for me, is more of a nice to have, not a need to have. Though it does appear you could customize the wallpaper on here. And since you have a carabiner loop on top to maybe hang this on a bag or something, this speaker could actually work as a nice accessory to carry around as well. Again, for $20, not a bad way to start our Temu video. I'm gonna jam out to some more music. Sweet. Next item up is our keyboard. Specifically, this comes from Attack Shark. It's the R85HE. The HE meaning Hall Effect, and we only spent $50 on this. Now, for a gaming keyboard, there are a lot of benefits to having Hall Effect magnetic switches, namely the fact that you can customize your actuation points depending on the game if you want your keys to be more or less sensitive. That should be something we'll be able to change in the software, which I'll be taking a look at later on. But if all of that sounds like mumbo jumbo, at the very least, the aesthetic on here looks quite nice. Good initial presentation here. very clean. Got some stickers as well. Oh, those are adorable. Though, that one looking kinda... All right, big reveal here. Let's see what Attack Shark have given us. Oh, looks pretty nice. We got a knob here on the side. That feels really nice. Got that billet aluminum feel. Very grippy. Ooh, we got some docks. Oh, those LEDs are pretty bright actually. Wow. And we have this strip over here that also looks pretty dang fire. I mean, if it were me, I would just get it a solid color, but that animation not only looks pretty smooth, but the LEDs are very diffused. Okay, 74 words per minute on this weird angle, plus I can't really touch type. But look, feel, sound on this keyboard, especially since we don't have it on any kind of desk mat. On initial impressions, I love this thing a lot. But let me get this on the gaming setup, actually try it for a couple of days, and I'll be right back with some thoughts.
A few moments later.
Y'all, I am happy to report that after spending an afternoon with this Attack Shark keyboard, it's pretty fire. We already saw that the out-of-box experience was pretty nice to begin with, but holy it is really easy to see how much value this thing offers for $50, especially once you start customizing it via software. Attack Shark have a WebDriver for this keyboard right on their website, which I literally found just by Googling R85HE, and I must say, it is stupid simple to configure. As I alluded to earlier with these magnetic switches, you have a page where you can easily set your actuation points and dead zones on a per key basis, and even toggle rapid trigger response. That'll help you counter-strafe better in Valorant and CS. Additionally, on top of letting you program custom macros, the app also has a page that lets you dial in per key lighting control to customize the look on your keyboard, which can especially come in handy if you decide to swap out the keycaps with other MX compatible sets. To test this R85HE, I played a little bit of Valorant, and while I was pretty rusty, skill issues aside, this keyboard slaps. Especially since we paid under retail on Temu. Normally this goes for 60 to 70 bucks on Amazon and Attack Shark's website. But yeah, we even saved a little bit of money. Not only is this a big thumbs up for me, but this might be one of the best overall keyboards we've ever gotten off Temu. Hell yeah. Next item up, we have our $7 Dashcam. And why I got this was pretty straightforward. I am genuinely curious at how good a $7 Dashcam can be. It's pretty well packaged. We have the Dashcam itself, which is pretty light. And as you can see, it has two cameras on it. It does charge via USB-C, has a micro SD card slot to record data to, and a bunch of buttons to interface with the LCD screen on the back. Additionally, in the way of accessories, we are given a window mount. So we have 3M tape to mount this onto our windshield. And we also have a USB-C to car adapter, which will plug right into our cigarette port. Not to get too far ahead of myself, because I will be properly testing this on my own vehicle to see what the video quality is like, but I do want to plug this into power to get at least some first impressions on what I can expect out of these cameras. Well, first of all, it's not turning on automatically. Could it be that it only works with the included car adapter? I mean, I'm plugging this into a 10-watt wall wart. Oh, okay. So that was the thing. This is the front-facing camera just on its own. It is VGA in resolution, which is not incredibly high, but looks good enough to me. And I'm guessing we also have, yeah, our 1080p rear camera. Now, at least on first impressions, the image quality here in our relatively dim studio lighting is not the best, though again, for a $7 dash cam, I don't think I can expect the world out of it. Let me install this on my windshield and I'll be right back with some real impressions on what this dash cam is like to live with. All right, so I got the $7 Bidofo dash cam installed in my car. And well, let's just say you definitely get what you pay for. Surprise, surprise, the image quality leaves more to be desired. I mean, yes, technically it does offer a 1080p resolution, but the sensor on here simply doesn't resolve that much detail. In broad daylight, you're not able to read street signs or license plates unless you're like half a car length away. And when the sun hits the lens, the glare completely ruins the image. At night, good luck. Beyond that, the main lens could be a bit wider to capture more of the environment in front of your vehicle. In fact, that's the same complaint I have for the cabin-facing camera as well. The quality on it isn't too bad considering its VGA resolution, but the super tight framing means in my two-seater sports car, you're not able to see me, just my trunk. Perhaps it's better served in a more standard vehicle with rear seats, but if the main camera is subpar to begin with, it might just be worth investing in a proper dashcam. I mean, here's the $7 option, and now compare that with my Viofo A119 V3 that I paid $80 for a couple years ago. Sure, it might be quite the price delta, but when it comes to recording stuff happening while you drive, I don't think it hurts to spend more because you never know when it might come in handy. It's a shame. I was wishing for a little more out of the $7 dashcam, but simply, it's a no-go for me. Ah yes, it wouldn't be a Temu video without trying out some Chinese IEMs. But for these in particular, the KZ-ZS12 Pro X, very long name. For $34, these have one particular feature that I am very curious to try out. Now, considering how small this box is, there probably isn't a whole lot in here to begin with. Obviously, we get our headphones themselves. Ooh, yeah, that is an all-metal construction. I'm gonna do the feel test. Ooh, cold to the touch on my cheek. Yep. That is quality right there. And then under door number 2, we have our cable, which is removable. Nice to see, especially if you are particular about things like lengths, design, or if you're a nerd, you probably care about sound quality. Additionally, they give us a bunch of extra ear tips, including some foam ones for really good passive isolation and extended bass response. Though, as cool as these are, I tend to not use them because they get dirty very easily and are hard to clean. So in the box you go. Okay, but why I'm really curious about these IEMs in particular is if I hold them up to our top-down camera here, you will see that there are switches built into them that allow you to tune the sound to your liking, at least to a degree. All right, to get a good baseline, I'm just gonna listen to the headphones as is first, as they came out of the box. Okay, these sound pretty decent. I feel like they're already pretty bass heavy as is, which now looking at the tuning instructions, all of the settings that we can adjust here actually increase the bass apparently, which I don't think I necessarily need out of these. In fact, the bass almost kind of drowns out the mids and highs for already being a warm sounding pair of headphones. Okay, I mean, let's just see what the sound adjustment does. I'm going to have to show you the adjustment process for this in B-roll because these switches are tiny as hell. In fact, they do helpfully give you a SIM eject tool in the box because you kind of need it. I don't know if that adjusted the bass. In fact, it might be clipping the trebles a lot. Don't know if that was the intended effect. Also, my ear is really gross right now. I am so sorry, audience. Okay, I'm just gonna turn the first 3 switches on, which is bass response up all the way to level 3. Oh, that definitely did it. Okay, that is a little better. It actually adds a little bit of roll-off to the treble, so it doesn't clip as hard. But I guess that is the upside to having all this adjustability. You can mix and match your settings and figure out what actually works best for you. But yeah, I don't know. I don't love these headphones. I don't hate them either. But for $34, maybe I could find something out there that actually suits my taste more specifically. But at least for the novelty, this is really cool. I would love to see more like these on the market. Yes, this is our toy Blackhawk helicopter. Now, if you guys have watched enough of the Temu videos we make here on Denki, you know that we have experience with both drones and RC toys, and this is kind of a mix of both. Inside the box, we have, look at this. This actually just feels like a mouse pad, but to land our helicopter on, that's pretty cool. This over here is our helicopter. I thought it would be a little bigger, but not a big deal at all. This on the left is our remote control, which feels pretty plasticky, but runs off of, holy sh**. Oh, it's a display base. So if you put it on like so, when you're not actually flying with this thing, you could just display it on your desk, just like so. Dang, this is gonna be really fun to fly around with. Let me get it all set up. We'll go outside and see what it's like to use our RC helicopter. All right, I got myself a nice open field to try out our helicopter. Got our helipad, gonna place it down here. Remote is all synced. Let's see if it'll take off. You can kind of see the, there we go. Okay, there we go. It's
It's actually really easy to fly. You see, unlike the drones that we've tried on Temu before, this one does not have any obstacle avoidance whatsoever, so you're up to your own devices to steer the thing and hopefully not crash. Got a little bit of a hover. Whoa! This is why I want to do this in an open field. Come toward me. Come toward. Sorry, yeah, it is. Cobra Vietnam, 1968, he said. Oh, dude, I got the trims, I think, pretty good. It's wandering a little bit, but it's manageable, which is, I think, what I want. Oh, that's as high as it wants to go. That's actually really manageable. It's not so high where you can lose track of it. That's just the right amount. Oh, yo. Oh, oh, this might be a little challenging. Hold on. Try to get my approach correct. Come on. We're so close, boys. Oh, I just missed. All right, you know what? For the $80 that we spent on this toy helicopter, I'm really impressed. That was super easy to fly. I had a lot of fun. Easy recommendation for me. Wow.